The future of our workforce isn't just written in boardrooms or factories, but in the universities, classrooms, and various forums, as well as in the minds of education leaders. They are the real visionaries who are pushing the boundaries in terms of creating the right set of talent, skills for the future professionals. In this series, Shaping Tomorrow, we honor them. We speak to various vice chancellors, deans, academic heads, and career services heads to understand how they are reshaping the higher education landscape and creating the future talent workforce. Join us as we uncover how they are transforming higher education to meet the needs of tomorrow, because shaping minds today means shaping the future workforce, one that is ready for the challenges of tomorrow. This is not just a conversation about education. This is a conversation about the future. And in this inaugural series, we cover the Middle East region, starting with the United Arab Emirates. Welcome to Shaping Tomorrow by Board Infinity. Welcome, Dr. Theo, to Shaping Tomorrow by Board Infinity. It's an absolute pleasure to have you in this video cast, and we are in the awesome campus of Alfaisal-university. I think it's a very uniquely built architectural style. I loved being on the campus, spending time here. You are currently the Associate Vice President for Research and Graduate Studies in the university. In fact, I would classify you as a veteran in the university because you spent close to around 2 decades out here. But it'll be great to have your introduction for the audience.
Okay, so it's a pleasure to take part in this. I joined the university in 2008, and that was roughly 6 months before the university opened. So to give you a mental picture of what it was like as you would walk in, still scaffolding in the main lobbies, and busy putting carpets in the rooms. And so in our first intake, we had 80 students. So that was for the whole university. So now we have somewhere between 5,000 and 6,000 students. And so the big thing, I think, with this university is probably the quality, both in terms of our students' output as well as our programs. We like to be called student-centered. I like to say it more student-driven. So it's the students that are pushing us to do things. And so we not only get academic programs, but at the same time the students do things, for example, like Culture Day. And even today, if you go downstairs, every week they are running something. So what this does in the end, you get students that can think, that are critical, and that can present. And this is what the companies and organizations are looking for: the quality of the students coming out of Alfaisal-university. A little bit on a personal basis. Okay, I was born in Amsterdam, the Netherlands, and when I was 9, my family moved to Canada, a town called Orillia, Ontario. It's about an hour's drive north of Toronto. And one of the main memories I have there, when my father was still alive, my brother and I, we used to help him to run a puppet show. And at Christmas time, we had like 20 or 30 puppet shows. And I can connect this to what is happening here. And so what we would do there before the show started, we would play music. I played the clarinet. And then we would run the puppet show, and it was lots of fun. I remember one time, my grade 8 teacher walked up to my father and she said, "Oh, Theo is so quiet in class, and here he is, So. And I think, in hindsight, that has really helped me to prepare for university. So you're not just learning things in academic, but also learning in some form how to entertain and how to be articulate. So that's helped a lot. So I've been very happy with this.
Great. So as you said, Alfaisal is one of the emerging universities in the kingdom, been there for more than 15 years now. And I think it's a very interesting higher education landscape where probably 95% students are in the public universities, and maybe less than 5% is actually studying in the private university system, right? And so one of the things is to be extremely competitive in terms of what the market demands and how do we go about giving it to the student, right? So my next question is more around, very specific to Riyadh or the local market, right? How do you ensure that the curriculum kind of remains relevant in this fast changing landscape, and especially with Vision 2030 goals, which are pretty ambitious, and how do we ensure that as a system we remain very relevant in terms of the curriculum?
Okay, that has sort of two parts in terms how it remains relevant. I can tell you I'm also sort of in charge of the graduate programs. In the past we would start up our own programs, but what we've done in the last 5 or 6 years, people from outside would come in and said, we want to have a program in infection control, we have a shortage of people in clinical psychology. Then we would work with that organization to help set up a master's program. So it automatically becomes relevant to the market needs throughout the graduate level. So you can have coursework masters, thesis masters, and so that helps to keep it relevant. At the same time, whatever we do international benchmarking. Okay. Whether it's accreditation or you name it. And even I remember seeing with the deans, for example, engineering and medicine, they will look, this other university is doing something new and this is really important. So then they will introduce that format here. We even went through this with engineering, for example, so that you no longer have your classical departments that you're separated. You have things coming together, becoming interdisciplinary, biomedical engineering, health informatics, you name it. So you're no longer on your own. The second part, which is really critical, and credit goes to the government. In the past, we were independent, going on our own little ways, and now the government or the Ministry of what they've decided, they've identified maybe a sort of a dozen universities that they want to lift up in terms of in the ranking system. And so they will help about a dozen universities with their research funding and things like that. And so,
very nice.
And it feels very nice. So in the past you feel sort of insecure, but no longer. Now you know that the government is there to help you with this.
Okay, great. And typically when we have a lot of rigor in the academic system, students' well-being and the engagement is something that potentially takes a backseat sometimes. How do you kind of balance it out for the programs that are run here on both undergrad and grad level?
The first part to keep the rigor is you do international accreditation at both the undergraduate and graduate level. For example, engineering, ABET. I was dean of the College of Science for 5 years, and so there we helped through the ABET system to get the life sciences program accredited. And so the key is international accreditation. The other thing on the other end of it is the new students coming in, for example, from high school and stuff. We have what's called the Academic Success Center, and this is something that was created at alfaisal, that are new students that have problems with their math, physics, chemistry. We have a system set up so that other students help those students with their problems, because students are better teachers than faculty. Okay, the student teaching a student, so that they know what the problem is, and so that is from the academic side. We also have student counseling if there are other types of problems. So it's a combination: accreditation, counseling, and then training using an academic success center, for example.
And typically when you keep launching new programs, sometimes it's difficult to keep track of what's happening in terms of effectiveness, right? So how do you kind of ensure the success of these programs, and how often are you sitting and re-evaluating, how these programs are run?
What we do now is, for example, with the master's programs, we will not set up a master's program unless some company or hospital, something comes in from outside and says we need clinical psychologists or we need infection control people, because we need to have certain number of trained people. And then we will work with them to set up a program, whether it's a coursework based or a thesis based. And so the relevance comes in because there's a market need, and then the people come in, and then we help them set the thing up. Also, another example, because we're private, for many years we weren't allowed to do PhD programs. Okay, so 2 years ago, the ministry, they made changes we allow the private universities to do it, and so now we have our first PhD program in biomedical sciences.
So as an institution, I could see a lot of technology-led solutions while I was walking through the corridors of the institution. But what are some of those essential things that you try to bring onto the classroom so that students are today more technology-oriented? And when I say technology-oriented, one from understanding technology and using it in terms of tools, etc. And second, from a higher education institution perspective, what are let's say the technology solutions you are using within the institution?
With the new technology, I keep reminding people, students are smarter than faculty, okay, with all the latest technology. And it's true. Even if, like I was teaching a environmental science and sustainability course to secondary students.
Yeah.
And if you have a question in class, it's okay, please check online and do it, choose on the computer, or this is what's going on. So number one is, students are smarter and they automatically pick it up, and it's more a case of even trying to hold them back. What we do for the technology side is, for example, we have exam soft rooms that handle large volumes of students. Above our library, they have 2 or 3 large rooms where you can handle several hundred students at the same time using exam soft. Don't ask me exactly how all that works. It's sort of beyond me, but I know it's there and they can do it electronically. So that's one side. The other one that's quite useful is something called Turnitin, where you do checking for not just plagiarism, but if you're doing it doesn't matter if you're a faculty or a student, and you can check how much original stuff you have there, and just learning through going through a process of finding to do a review paper, put it there, and then it will tell you what you have to change. Okay, so that part is fine. The other thing, as an administrator, what I really like now, things are going from paper-based into more online, where you fill in forms electronically. And I think that has really helped society as a whole. I do not have to have the word of caution to society. If you ever sit around the table with your family or with students, look at how many people are using their smartphones. And so this is a word of caution. We're becoming a society, and this is for myself too. We are now a society that is addicted to this, okay? So this is a warning. So we need to be really careful, because between the smartphones and the AI technology, I don't want to say dangerous, but we have to be careful in terms of what is going on.
Yeah, I think a very interesting point of view also nowadays in terms of who can work with any specific technology solution. I think all students today want to use a lot of technology, and you're just getting your technology right from the beginning of probably when you are 2 years, 3 years old. So they're all technologically native. The question then comes around, how do you use it appropriately and how do you use it effectively? And there are a lot of gray areas around that, and I also completely understand that. One of the other things I really want to understand is that I think as a university there is practice of having academicians as well as people from outside who can come and add flavor to the curriculum, and that's one of the things that at Board Infinity we also fundamentally believe in, is that we get more and more folks from industry to come in and participate. At least on the employability side, things will get better. So I think there's a great practice going on here from what the conversations that I've had. What is your view around that, or what do you personally think around bringing in industry to come and co-develop courses, curriculum delivery?
I think it's important to have people from outside, from industry, to come in and as adjunct to either teach a course or part of a course, because then you have really a flavor of the real world, not just academics teaching. So I think it is a crucial aspect, and it's important to try to find the right balance. I know that, for example, in medicine they have many adjunct, I won't even tell you how many, but there are many adjuncts from the local hospitals, and then the medical people in the hospitals, they love having a university, being associated with the university. So that it could end up being a win-win situation. So yes, it's a crucial part. It's important to try and find the right balance. And sometimes if you cannot get enough full-time faculty, you can go and get your adjuncts from industry or from other hospitals to help out.
So good. I think nice to hear your point of view around that. I think my last question before I come to my last question, what does Dr. Theo do as a person when not working? And I'm sure you're pretty much working most of the time, but
no, I have hobbies. I do.
Okay, great. Yeah.
I have hobbies. I play clarinet.
Okay.
When I learned it when I was working in a puppet show with my father years ago, so I played the clarinet. I spent 6 months one time in the diplomatic corps. There was a jazz band run by the American Embassy, so I took part in that for 6 months.
Okay.
I also do painting. And to give you an example, the difference between parents and kids, my father was when he was alive, he was quite artistic. He never spent more than 3 hours in the painting.
Oh, is it?
No, and do you know how long I can spend on a painting? 3 years. And it shows. I'll show you later on. Okay, I can spend 3 years, and what you end up with things like, if you have Vermeer, he's a Dutch painter.
Okay.
So I have my own grandfather or my own family with a Vermeer background.
Oh, okay.
So it's so that's mine. And I do sports. I do exercise. With my wife a bit. We go walking, go to coffee shops. And this is sort of, you need to have a balance. You can't always work. You need to have some sort of
very
off
true,
time.
Very true. And coming back again to the faculty piece, right? I mean, how do you ensure some of the faculty, and some of the faculty might have worked before, but then maybe they are part of the academic system for a long period of time. How do you ensure that they are staying updated? And second, how do they contribute to the curriculum development on a regular basis?
So here then we're talking about faculty development, how to keep up to date. We have something called the faculty activity report. It encompasses teaching, research, and service. And so this year it's gone completely sort of online, where they have to fill things in. So they have to not just say, I'm good at this, provide evidence. I teach this course, provide evidence. This is just like accreditation.
Yeah.
And so they fill this in, and once they fill it in online, the head of the department checks it. Then the dean checks what is done, and then I'm on the validation committee, and then the validation committee double checks it, and then it goes to the president.
Okay.
And that stuff, and what makes it effective now, the salary increment, it depends on the score they get in this.
Okay, so there is an incentive.
There is an incentive, so it's, somebody once did I think this comes from Japan, a survey of faculty. There are 3 things that are important to the faculty. Number 1 is promotion. Number 2 is recognition. And number 3 is salary.
Okay.
And I think now this is probably working quite well. So this is the main thing that sort of keeps it.
Great. So on a closing note, because you spent many decades in the academic world, and most importantly, I think you have had a multi-geography experience, right? In Europe, US, right now in the Middle East, and in other parts as well. For successfully building out an institution and focusing it on a, like you said, student-driven or student-centric kind of a model, what are one or two recommendations that you would give to the broader community so that they can benefit from the same? Because we have a lot of private institutions which are slowly starting to come into the region and set up. So what do you recommend?
You need a good backer. Al-Faisal was successful, I think, primarily because it was developed through the King Faisal Foundation. Okay, and they run, I don't know, maybe 70 companies. Their key one is the two things you have: quality, output, and they're very careful with the money because it's not all of it. And so the same thing with Al-Faisal. The key is quality programs, quality students, and be careful because the pit is not bottomless. We're in Saudi, but we have limited money. So you make sure that you have a quality student, a quality product. Pay your faculty well. Try not to spend too much money on non-useless things. Okay, so there has to be some sort of push where people enjoy working in a place. You have good students and a good atmosphere. I mean, I've been here 17 years.
Yeah.
I'll stay. I'll keep going. So I enjoy it.
Yeah. You look like you just joined.
Yeah. Oh, my wife. She's gonna get mad at me for this one. My wife bakes cakes and brings it to school.
Okay.
To school, and people are saying, "Oh, when is your wife going to bring some more cake?" And I was in science and also where I am now. So it's important that you're not just on yourself, but you're with your spouse, and so you get a package deal. So.
Yeah. Okay, great, awesome. So I think it was wonderful to have you here in Shaping Tomorrow by Board Infinity, and some of the key things which you told resonate very well, and I really appreciate all the great work done by the university over the last 2 decades, and it's a very lively atmosphere to be here, and there is always an openness to see what can be done more, and best wishes for everything that you want to do in the future with respect to the university. And
okay.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for the interview. It's been a pleasure. Okay?
Thank you.